catastrophic 7.8 magnitude earthquake has killed up to 5,000 people in Turkey and neighbouring country Syria. The earthquake struck Turkey and Syria on Monday morning, levelling buildings and causing tremors felt as far away as Greenland. It was quickly followed by a powerful 7.6 quake and dozens of aftershocks that wiped out entire sections of major Turkish cities. The quake hit Turkey in a region filled with millions who had fled the civil war in Syria. Thousands of buildings have been damaged and infrastructure has been destroyed. Communication is currently limited in the area. There is a huge concern that there are people trapped under the rubble and weather conditions are expected to dip below freezing, with many left shelterless. The quake is believed to be the strongest to hit Turkey since 1939, when an earthquake of the same magnitude killed 30,000 people. Britain and countries in Europe have urgently sent in rescue teams to help.
Welcome to Pimpy's Investment Chat, where we keep investment talk simple. And here's your host, Pimpy.
What is going on out there, peeps? Thoughts and prayers to all the people who were the victim of that earthquake. That seems to be happening a whole lot lately. Some really powerful earthquakes taking place. The thing to me that was really shocking about that video was how easy the buildings were collapsing. I'm going to go out on a limb there and say that they don't have the same type of earthquake regulations that we do here in California. Here in California, well, we got laws that regulate it, how these buildings are built. They are not going to collapse that easy. I'm not saying they won't collapse, but not that easy. Some of you might remember that Turkey had an earthquake that damn near split the country in two. It caused a huge old canyon right down the middle of one of its provinces. So it's Turkey's really been getting beat up pretty bad by these earthquakes. It's amazing to see. Anyways, let's get back to Iraq, find out what's going on, and see what's the latest and the greatest. Al-Sudini. There are negotiations with major international companies to manage the large fall port. So we know when Al-Sudini got into office, one of the things he put a huge urgency on was finishing the port of Fall, because this has great revenue potential for Iraq. I think his projection for the completion of this is around 2025. So you can imagine with the One Belt Initiative and the Port of Fall opening up, just how much business it's going to bring over to Iraq. I spoke about this before. Iraq is the doorway to the Middle East. With the port this size and the One Belt Initiative, this is going to allow them to ship things out and bring things in through the ports. Then the tractor trailers pick them up, drive down the One Belt Initiative. They are good to go. A lot of revenue for Iraq. You see right here, it says the Sudanese media quoted him as saying that the Fall Port project is of special attention by the government, and it is serious about completing it according to the required specifications, and we are in front of real and vital project ready to receive ships after completing the requirements for its implementation, which are going as planned. He pointed out that the government has developed solutions to all obstacles and technical problems in order to implement the project with the best specifications, and that there are negotiations with the major international companies to manage the project, stressing that the Fall Port project will have a pivotal role in the transport of goods between Asia and Europe, especially as it is linked to the Development Road project, which represents the greater Iraq project. So this port is going to be the 10th largest in the world. To give you an idea of what we're talking about, you can just see right here. You can only imagine this happening over in Iraq. Ships upon ships upon ships, pulling in and taking off with containers. This would definitely be hitting the international market without a problem. This is going to help Iraq really grow. Think about a number of jobs that's going to provide, but again, most of all, additional revenue to the government of Iraq outside of oil revenues. Central Bank Governor chairs first meeting of Iraq's National Payment Council. So I know there's a lot of what to do in regards to this electronic payment service. Let me just simplify it for you, for those of you who don't understand what they're talking about. Over in Iraq, they're so far behind with technology, and it's been kept that way on purpose. They do a lot of their business using paperwork. This allows them to be as corrupt as possible. They have been implementing computers, computer programs, training their people how to use the computers so that everything can be done electronically and faster, making it harder for people to commit fraud. I'm not saying impossible, but much harder. Right now, when you're doing everything by paper, it's real easy to lose this paper, create fake ones. It's really hard for people to keep track and real easy for corruption to take place. I remember when Al-Qadimi got in office, he fired something like 20,000 senior management people. It was a crazy thing. But anyways, they started implementing a new computer system in the ports. Then they started catching a lot of corrupt people. There was a lot of people against this kind of change. They like it the way it is, and you can understand why. But a lot of their money was being stolen from the Iraqi people, money that could have went into the budget instead of just relying on oil sales. And ever since they changed into this new system, they're able to keep track of things a lot better, implement port fees as well as border crossing fees. I think in September we saw a report. There was a 9-month report on the amount of fees generated for border crossings in ports. It was close to $1 billion. So that's really good for Iraq, and it's going to continue. This electronic payment service, all this is just like we have here in the United States. We could do transactions without using cash. So if you want to make a purchase, you can use your credit card or your ATM card. Merchants do it between each other. They're going to be able to order goods online. Things like that. That's what this is. I know there's people out there going, oh, this is going to change the exchange rate. No, it isn't. The vast majority of Iraqi people do business with cash instead of an electronic payment. So all this is doing is bringing Iraq out of the dark ages into where we are today. And people can order things over the internet, or you can go to your store and you can use your credit card, or you can use your ATM cards. Like I said, that's what this is. So, and that alone has its own infrastructure. It's going to make life easier for the people of Iraq, and then they won't rely on cash so much. Central Bank reveals 2 agreements during joint Iraqi delegation talks in Turkey. Yeah, after this big earthquake, it isn't small, man. This thing hit right in the heart of the biggest city over there, one of the biggest cities anyways. And you saw how easy those buildings just collapsed. Man, it's really sad to see. So I'm praying for the people over in Syria as well as Turkey. It's bad enough they were trying to escape a civil war, and then they get over there, get settled in, they got a new home, and then wham, get hit by earthquake and just get crushed. So this agreement with Turkey, what this allows each country to do, it allows their merchants to purchase goods from each other's country using their own currency. So if I'm in Iraq and I'm a merchant in Iraq and I want to buy goods from over there in Turkey to sell in my store, I can purchase those goods using the Iraqi dinar and vice versa. If I'm a merchant in Turkey and I want to buy some goods that I can sell in my store over here in Turkey, I can use the euro or the lira. And then the banks will settle the issue with the 2 currencies. That's why they do currency swaps. These are some pretty big hurdles that Iraq has managed to get over. Let's hope they continue down this path and nothing bad happens. We know we got elections coming up, and we know what happened last elections. Not that I'm trying to jinx it, but we're definitely hoping that everything goes a lot smoother than it did the last election. So this article is just what I was talking about. You can see here in detail, Turkey merchants wanting to buy goods from Iraq. They could do so using the Turkish lira or the euro, and vice versa. If Iraq wants to buy goods from Turkey, they can use the Iraqi dinar. Iraq announces custom tariffs on imports, including gold, to regulate financial transactions. So like I was saying earlier, they used to do everything by paper. Nothing was updated. So now everything is updated. They're able to add on tariffs, collect fees from border crossing as well as into ports. This is great for the state, as you can see right here. Al-Sadini's cabinet for the year 2023 has been issued to support the commercial process in Iraq and regulate the import process by imposing custom tariffs, which are crucial in providing financial revenues to the state treasury. Another way to generate revenue outside of oil. The future of Iraq at the conference table in Dubai. These are his details. So the last time the IBBC showed up in 2022, they had a great showing. A lot of business people were there. A lot of memorandums of understanding were signed. It looks like they've increased since then their membership by 15%. You're going to see a lot of people from gas and oil coming in, hoping to make agreements and start businesses over there with Iraq. A big bulk of them, of course, are going towards oil and gas. But there are other areas they're talking about tackling. You see right here, they're talking about building a sustainable future. I'm sure in these meetings, Iraq is trying to assure people that they are a stable country with a stable government and trying to encourage outside companies to come into Iraq and do business there. A lot of these countries want to be involved with Iraq when it comes to their reconstruction process, because all this is big business for both a country that comes in and helps as well as Iraq. So not only is Iraq tackling infrastructure, fixing the 10th largest port in the world, opening up one of the largest roads for interstate commerce. In addition to that, they're meeting with companies with the opportunity to do business with them and meeting with other countries for the opportunity to do trade with them. So as you can well imagine, as they continue to grow economically and become stronger, more people have jobs, and they come up with alternative revenue outside of just relying on oil. If they could do away with the corruption, stabilize their government, keep these idiots that are out there launching missiles at U.S. soldiers, all this contributes to the strengthening of the Iraqi dinar. And from there, we'll start to see increases happen in increments as they go along. Remember, Iraq is an importing country, not like Vietnam, who's exporting. Not yet anyways. So they have room for the Iraqi dinar to grow. This will allow them to bring in goods from around the world to the Iraqi people. So I can understand why a lot of people are excited. It is exciting news. But again, we want to stay grounded and stay away from people who are claiming that it's going to happen overnight or next week. Okay, guys? Anyways, that's it for now. I appreciate you guys chiming in. I'll get back at you later. I'm out.